latest one, which has taken the world by storm again. And
Hmm.
why, I'm super excited about this news is because I think in one of the podcasts, and this was probably 3 months back when we were starting to write down, Anthropic, right, when it comes to other competitors in the market. But I think the
Yeah,
last 2 months, they've literally changed the way that probably people look at Anthropic, right? Last month they launched the suite of Claude 3, which was a suite of three models that they had actually launched, which, and having being a user now, we've leveraged Opus and Haiku across our implementations, are enterprise ready models. But
yeah.
just probably yesterday, they took the world again by storm. They've launched the next version in less than 2 months, which is Claude 3.5. And the first model that they've actually launched in that suite is Sonnet. So Sonnet, if people don't remember, was part of the or was first launched as part of the third version of Claude, which is the model from Anthropic, which they claim to be quite powerful and having actually used as well is pretty powerful. But the advantage that you get with Sonnet is it's a light model and can be used on edge devices like mobile phones, right?
Mm.
So the first model that they've upgraded in this suite is Sonnet, right? But then what's so special about this, right? So one obviously is again I have utilized it and I'll probably give my verdict. But three things that they're highlighting, which probably it is doing much better than the previous versions, is one, outrightly they're saying that it's much better than, or it competes much better at most of the standards with 4.0, right? GPT 4.0. But most importantly, it actually is good at reasoning, or it probably surpasses 4.0 at reasoning, like reasoning tasks. Number two, content generation, what they're claiming probably is probably much better. And number three, very natural language flow type of conversations where it actually understands sarcasm, human from users, and so on. These are the three things that Anthropic has highlighted. It's probably more, enhanced in this version. But my verdict, Shiva, definitely, this is one of the best models that have been hit, not only from Anthropic, but overall. And I was trying it out. By the way, you can also try it out. It's available even to free users on Claude's
Yeah.
website, right, as a chat agent, right? So the goods, right? The good is one thing I really found which stood out probably for the other models is it was able to understand humor very well, understand human and sarcasm very well, right? Number two is the content that it was actually generating, right? Was like, while obviously the accuracy is something that we couldn't judge at this early, but the flow of the content that it generated was very free flowing, very human like. Right? It did not appear at all that it was actually written by a machine, right? So these are the two things that really stood out for me. And we've already gotten, you won't believe, sure, we've already gotten requests from one of our clients that they want to move to 3.5 to, from
Yeah.
3, right? So it's that level of adaptability, right? Just one last update on the release is they've actually released a new feature, which we'll have to see how useful this is artifacts, which means that today obviously when you generate certain content, right, on Anthropic or probably on the chat agent chatbot, is you probably it remains in the same window, then you have to probably create it, download it, edit it, etc. But whenever you now create a content, you'll be able to just have a private dedicated window just to that content, and you can have multiple contents generated and continue your separate conversation, right? So you can just contain your or edit your specific content in a separate window without having to probably launch another chat and continue in the same session, right? Again, how useful it is, we'll have to see, but brilliant update from Claude, from Anthropic.
Yeah. So kudos to Anthropic. Obviously, the fact that a lot of OpenAI team is currently at Anthropic is a massive advantage to Anthropic actually now that they're able to move really fast. And also there is also the other talk that knowing Sam Altman who he is, GPT they might already have some better models already available. So the thought process is that hey, GPT is actually they always have +2 releases available with them because they don't allow the competition to be the leader of the chart for more than 2 weeks or something. So GPT will keep it so that they'll just launch it to go back like a small improvement types. But we'll have to see if that is really true. Uh, Sam Altman is absolutely possible. I mean, it's absolutely possible for someone like Sam Altman to do that, but we still have to wait and see if it's actually happening. But Having said that, this is a great news for all the customers running on AWS primarily because
Absolutely.
I also saw Swami's post that now 3.5 is available through
Oh,
Amazon
welcome.
Bedrock, which means right, all the enterprise customers running on AWS get to work with probably the best model in the market. And the other benchmark or I would say, benchmark study that I saw was that um, Claude 3.5 has got much better at apparently coding compared to previous model. So it's able to code as good as GPT 4.0, which is another big plus for Claude. Especially again, I'm thinking about all our customers on AWS and all the other customers who are using GPT-4 as the primary LLM and Claude as the secondary LLM as a backup LLM. From all those standpoint, it's a really great news for actually Claude. So to have launched
No,
it. So yeah,
absolutely.
exciting
But
update.
But I do have I will not say a take, right? And I was reading this brilliant article from Andrew NG, right? In terms of GPT's strategy and how it actually is working out for them, right? And I still feel, I think from accessibility perspective, right? GPT-4, and
Hmm.
I think it's about getting used to more so, but more so, I would say the interface that you have when I compare, the Claude chatbot interface versus ChatGPT interface, right? I think one obviously is usability perspective. I still go to ChatGPT mostly, right? Sure, might
Hmm.
change. But number two, I think one more thing is that they've given the capability to the developers, the level of capability, like building your own GPTs, right? As easy as it can be, right? Like what probably Android also allowed, right? From adaptability perspective, right? So I think that's another thing that probably, they are doing right. But then in that article, right, one thing that really stood out is that are they getting too late into this game, and especially with tools like Sora. I think Sora was announced what 2 months, 2.5 months back, but we've still not seen it in action. And since then, you've seen much more powerful models already in action, right? Like Runway also launched their own version, right? So are they getting too slow in terms of launches? While you like you mentioned, probably they do that, while the others are actually doing incrementally and getting more adoption, right, in the market.
I mean, could be absolutely could be. Why not? They might be slowing down. All the exits and all the other lawsuits might be distracting them. They're still a $3.5 billion ARR company. That's like crazy as I mean, we know it's all early things, but if it's true, it's crazy. Let's see where it takes. It's good competition.
Absolutely.
The competition is keeping up. Probably the Llama 3 400 billion model will also come out soon, and that'll also keep up the whole thing moving. So yeah, I'm just excited for our customers and for ourselves actually. Yes.
No, absolutely. And as we've discussed, right, I think this year is mostly going to be different versions coming out market stable. I think next year is when we'll probably see some amount of consolidation happening.